How's it going, vigilantes, freaking speedsters, and everybody, because this is a crossover update video. As you may have already heard, I'm a teeny bit late to this news, but there's a lot to discuss since then, plus castings and everything to do with the crossover. But the crossover event is called Elseworlds, and now this could mean so many different things. It's very exciting stuff. They also released a poster alongside this, and here you can kind of, I believe this is Gotham City. You would have to think that it is, considering it's got the Batwoman signal there. Even if you zoom in a little bit on one of the towers, you got the Wayne logo there for, like, you know, the Wayne Tower, which is pretty cool. And also it just details that, you know, it'll be starting with the Flash on December 9th, 10th, and 11th. And then you've got the big Elseworlds logo in the middle. Now, when this poster dropped yesterday with, you know, the title announcement of the crossover being Elseworlds, they also teased that there's going to be some huge ass casting news dropped shortly after that. And now, as of when I'm making this video, I can talk about both of them in one, luckily. And that is that the Monitor, the freaking Monitor, has been cast for this upcoming crossover event. Now, who is playing the Monitor, you may wonder? That is actually LaMonica Garrett, who they're crediting here mainly for Designated Survivor, will appear in the crossover as Ma Novu, aka the Monitor, an extraterrestrial being out of infinite power. Little is known about the prominent role the Monitor will play in the crossover, but given the character's importance in DC Comics lore, Monitors are charged with observing the multiverse, occasionally intervening in times of crisis. The possibilities are virtually endless. Now, I'll talk a bit more about the Monitor in a second, and LaMonica. I've actually seen Designated Survivor. I lost interest in season 2, but season 1 was freaking amazing, but I personally felt like it got way too political rather than freaking action. Now, this isn't a Designated Survivor review, but I remember him in that, and he was pretty good. As for him playing the Monitor, I'm sure he can do that. I'm not so sure. This is all of the questions I want you guys to talk about in the comment section down below, because none of us are sure about how prominent any of this new information is going to be. Like, what's the Monitor's role going to be in the crossover? Does this mean that potentially freaking Earths are merging, you know, like in the multiverse? There's so many theories out there right now. But let's first talk about Elseworlds. What is freaking Elseworlds? Like, what does the title mean of the crossover? Well, Elseworlds in traditional DC Comics freaking knowledge is just like different stories of the iconic roles that we know today. So I've seen a lot of people talking about Elseworlds, you know, perfect examples being like, you know, Gotham by Gaslight, where, you know, Batman was basically a Batman story set in the Jack the Ripper times. But, you know, one of the more prominent ones you may be finding out about each and every day at the minute is Todd Phillips's Joker film. DC, I think it was early this year or last year, they announced that, you know, this new label would be launched under the Joker film, like as the first film in an Elseworlds type universe, making room for more actors, taking on the iconic role of these characters. So, for example, the Caped Crusader could be played by somebody else other than Ben Affleck. Not that Ben Affleck, is he playing the freaking role or not? Apparently, he was seen with a script. You know, does that mean he's coming? I don't know. That's another video. But, you know, someone else could be Superman. Oh, wait, is freaking Henry Cavill still Superman? And somebody else can play the Joker. You kind of get what I mean, and that is what is happening. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker film is an Elseworlds film, meaning that it's kind of traditionally set outside the realms of kind of known canon. And as we mentioned just a second ago, you know, Gotham by Gaslight, Batman being, you know, set in a time way before what most traditional Batman stories are set in, is a perfect example. And this Todd Phillips Joker film, you know, is set when the Joker is being born, when Batman isn't even around, and Thomas Wayne is running for freaking mayor in the film. And, you know, a lot of people don't actually realize that this absolutely has nothing to do or connected with the DCEU. So the title, when you take it like that literally, you know, Elseworlds for this crossover event for the CW, makes you think that are they just talking about the multiple different Earths, like in the sense of, you know, Earth 38, you know, being Melissa, you know, Supergirl's Earth, and you could argue that would be an Elseworld because we do have these characters, you know, like Oliver Queen on Earth 2 who died and things like that. So those would be Elseworld stories in a way. So it could be like talking about a larger stretch of Elseworlds. You know, we got potentially Batwoman's Earth, we got Supergirl's Earth, we got Earth 2. What if the Monitor's role is somehow merging some of these Earths together? I don't think that is the case. This is a theory I've seen chucked out there. That would be really cool, because my biggest problem with the multiverse, even though the multiverse is out there, It's just that in the CW, it's just like, I want all the heroes like Superman, Supergirl, you know, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be Black Lightning because they've really stressed that they want to be on their own Earth, but the other heroes that they've put on like Earth 38, who are meant to be in this Justice League lineup on Earth 1, God, you know, God forbid that, you know, Batwoman's going to be on Earth 43 or something. I want them all to be in one league on one Earth. Yeah, have other characters and duplicates of them on other Earths, but I just want them on one Earth, and maybe the crossover event is trying to tease a little bit of that. Then again, guys, this Elseworlds story could just be like a literal Elseworlds story about, because as you may know if you've been keeping up with the crossover updates, is that it's going to be more character driven. It's not going to be like including Legends of Tomorrow or huge ass cast. It will have Barry Allen, it will have Oliver Queen, Supergirl, you know, Kara. It will have even Clark Kent from Earth 38, well, we assume, Superman, but with the introduction of Lois Lane as well, and on top of this, it's like this backdoor pilot to Batwoman, even though, yeah, it's getting a proper pilot, but this is the introduction of Ruby Rose's Batwoman in this crossover. So, with the possibility as well of this just being a separate, you know, this isn't our Earth 1 characters, it's actually just a story of the Flash, of Barry Allen on this, in this Elseworlds universe, and they're doing it that way. I love the idea of that. It would just be like this escape from, like, yeah, Earth 1, Oliver is still in prison maybe, Barry's still doing this with Cicada or whatever, but we're getting this kind of cool little tale, Elseworlds tale, for example, like Gotham by Gaslight, but with the CW's heroes. However, I don't think that would necessarily happen either, just because, you know, how would that be like a low-key backdoor for Batwoman to come into this main Arrow universe with, you know, Earth 1 Oliver and Earth 1 Barry and stuff like that? It still could be in a way, because it could still be an Elseworlds tale of a different Flash. Barry maybe in a different suit, but I highly doubt they're going to make massively brand new suits for this if it was an Elseworlds tale of a different Flash, but it's still Grant Gustin. However, they could still go with that. But for some reason, with the Monitor getting involved, Batwoman might, with whatever's happening in this trippy Elseworlds story, could launch her, you know, catapult her into our universe or something like that. You know, from her Elseworld into this universe where for some reason Batman isn't around. But hey, Batwoman's... I don't know, this is what I mean. As TV Line said at the beginning, as I quoted it, the possibilities are virtually endless. I don't think it's going to be as crazy and speculative as the ideas I'm throwing out right now. I'm sure it will be in some areas, but it's going to be probably a lot more, you know, forward, you know, and less, you know, creative thinking than what I'm throwing out. Maybe our characters are going to an Elseworlds-like story where they're seeing these other versions of themselves, and as I said, they're going to kind of take or borrow Ruby Rose's Batwoman out of it into Earth 1, maybe, something like that. But then again, as soon as I heard these kind of ideas, or if you just think of them of yourself, or of your own back kind of thing, you still think, would they really do other versions of these characters, including the Earth 1 characters, you know, like Barry going to see these other characters like themselves, it's just in an Elseworlds story, when last year, I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but we got other versions of Oliver Queen. Yes, they were evil, and I'm sure this time around, if they were to do it, they wouldn't be evil, but it's still a samey kind of thing. Maybe a way to tackle that would be something like what we've already discussed in this video, where the Earth 1 characters like Oliver, Barry, and that do not meet their other Elseworlds characters' versions of themselves, and it truly is just an Elseworlds tale. But then again, I do not see how, if it is just a cool, awesome Elseworlds tale, how Batwoman will come out of that, you know, into our own, you know, Arrowverse universe. Unless it's going to be something like Black Lightning, where they're kind of insistent as of, for now, they don't need to belong into, you know, in the Arrowverse universe, like of Earth 1 and stuff like that. But even so, this is kind of getting trippy with how we're trying to work out how Batwoman is going to be involved into coming into our universe, but this might also still, as the title you know, infers, an Elseworlds story. Maybe it will just be something so pivotal that the Monitor does that allows all this crazy, trippy, cross-lining, Elseworlds, stream, universe-lining shit to go down. I don't know, but I would love to know your thoughts, guys. But that is just about everything I've got to say about this Elseworlds poster and the title and the news that the Monitor is coming to the crossover. It's going to be seriously interesting. Does that... I know I haven't spoke about the anti-Monitor or anything. You would have to think, since the Monitor is coming in... I'm not saying anti-Monitor is going to be involved, but there must be like a reference to how he can freaking, I don't know, I can sense his power or something like that, because, you know, he can detect the anti-Monitor and vice versa and stuff. That would be so big. Be sure to leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you're brand new to not miss out on a single update on anything DC TV and Marvel and stuff like that. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.